Hi there, this is Matt with State of Flux, and happy Judgment Day, everybody. It is August 29th as of the drop of this review, and it's time to look back at Terminator 2, Judgment Day. I'm continuing my look back at the entire work of James Cameron, and we've finally hit Terminator 2. Some consider this to be one of the greatest sequels of all time, and I think it certainly is in that conversation, deservedly so. Not only is it a fantastic follow-up or continuation of the first Terminator, it is a stunning, spectacle-driven film that, at the time of release, had never really been seen to that scale before. This has jaw-dropping special effects that hold up. This has really strong thematic and character work that helps continue the storyline presented in the first one, but under a slightly different genre and in a clever way, by taking your villain from the first one and effectively making him the hero of this one through some slick, playful writing. You have already a film that is pretty damn compelling. Given the morality play that unfolds with John Connor learning to kind of become the man that he is destined or fated potentially to be in one possible future, you see that growth and development of how this young boy can grow to be a strong military leader through the value and understanding of human life and what it means to be human. And then you juxtapose that with your hero of the first film, John Connor's mother, Sarah Connor, and you get the most compelling aspect of the film. A woman whose tortured mind, who knows the future is potentially out there and is coming directly for her, faced and confronted with the terrible truth that we are the cause of our own demise, loses the bits of humanity she has left within her and becomes not unlike a Terminator herself when she takes on poor Joe Morton's family and trying to eliminate Joe Morton's character, Miles Bennett Dyson himself, the person who is destined to create the technology that will destroy all of human existence except for the small fragments of mankind that linger beneath. All of this is incredibly compelling. It's built exceptionally strongly off of what the first one pushed forward in its pretty straightforward, like cyber horror, action and fairy tale of a story, and brings us something new. It's not just a rehash of the first one, though it does have similar elements. You have the Terminator in the climax getting inside of a big semi-truck, ramming them at the heroes only to be defeated, and you think it's down, but no, it rises. Last time it was from the fire, this time it's from the frozen cold, reignited by fire. You do have some of that elements that kind of hits a little bit of the same beat, but this, similar to Star Wars, is like poetry. It rhymes, George Lucas's theory of the original 6 Star Wars film. I feel like this kind of hits that a little stronger, and so I'm not one to complain about it. And it's because of how strong the main 3 characters are developed. We never got to meet John Connor. We only heard of his greatness. And seeing this young boy who is completely willing to do a lot of things that are naughty by adolescent standards, but completely understandable given the life he has been fostered into. And seeing that down in his actual character is the goodness of everything that Kyle Reese had spoken of, was neat and compelling in its own right. Edward Furlong, plays young John Connor in one of the best child performances I think I've ever seen. I stand by that. I think it is criminal that his performance went overlooked at come Academy Award times, because he sells the drama, he sells the coolness, he sells the humor, but he sells the weight of the world, and it's such a slick little performance and so engaging and truly, truly great. But it's also in the writing of Sarah Connor. I just explained to you how I thought it was compelling that she is confronted with this terrible truth, and it's very easy when you're confronted with the knowledge that humankind is going to wipe themselves out of their own accord to not just play into that and become a killer yourself. And how she edges so close to being a Terminator is powerful and gripping, and it's understandable how you can get from the character that we saw in the first movie to the character we see here, and how she redeems herself when John confronts her in her terrible moment of action. And her performance is breathtakingly good. Linda Hamilton is a phenomenal actress, one of the best we had out of the 80s and early 90s, and it is a goddamn shame that she went overlooked come award season. Sigourney Weaver got a nomination for Aliens. Linda Hamilton deserved that too for Terminator 2. That is one of the strongest performances I have seen. And just the juxtaposition you get from Terminator 1 and Terminator 2, and the slight flashback you get when Sarah has her dream, the no fate dream where you see the bomb go off and the world end, and she sees herself as she was in the first one playing with a young John, is there to remind you of how distinctly different she has gone, but she sells it and it feels organic and believable and real. And I love her performance. But Schwarzenegger also gives a fantastic performance as the T-800 that's rebranded in this one as the hero. He is a captured Terminator that's programmed to protect John as his own savior rather than to kill him. And what we learn is the compelling love story that James Cameron infuses in this one is a paternal love story that's the other end of Aliens. You have a father-son relationship from somebody who never had one. And it's a really strong bit of storytelling, but Schwarzenegger is really, really good in this movie. He has comedic beats that land really hard, he has the dramatic beats, and he does the kind of Vulcan impossibility. I've reviewed all the Star Trek works on my channel, you can check those out. But his one of the things that I always talk about with the greatness of Leonard Nimoy is how he portrays being a Vulcan, and Schwarzenegger in these movies really falls into that as well. Schwarzenegger's a much better actor than people give him credit for. I think he has like a stiltedness to him in that his accent that he's never really truly been able to shake kind of limits the type of role he can really do, and as well as his stature and all that stuff. But he 100% sells this character in this movie as a complete 180 from what you get in the first Terminator, where he's absolute menace and terrifying. Here, you do grow to appreciate him in a fatherly capacity, and it's really striking. So yeah, I've always felt that Schwarzenegger is a good actor, and this is one of his stronger roles. Continuing on with that, you have Joe Morton, who is so good as Miles Dyson, who just comes in a couple of times throughout the film, but really makes it his own and has a truly fantastic death scene. And then you have Robert Patrick as the T-1000, this film's secret weapon. If the Terminator isn't the villain, what is? And that's the T-1000. Terminator made of liquid metal, which at the time was absolutely stunning, and I think mostly still holds up for its visual effects. Some of it looks dated, but the visual effects in this film are incredibly strong, even by today's standards. I have a preference to a cut of this movie, and I think the director's cut, the extended special edition cut, is the best cut of the movie, because it fleshes out some of the things that get overlooked a little bit in the theatrical cut. Much like Aliens Special Edition and Aliens, both cuts are fantastic 4-star movies, but what pushes the special edition so far beyond is how it kind of fleshes out and ties the first movie into the second one a little stronger. You have the dream sequence with Kyle Reese, where Michael Biehn reprises his role in a lovely little scene, but you also get more explanation and expository moments purely for fans of what's happening in this story, to really fully engage with it, and I think it's genuinely just the strongest cut of the movie. Terminator 2 is just a truly epic movie. Its action is great. It has really strong beats of humor. It is a powerful morality play, especially for young people. This was in a time when R-rated films were still kind of marketed a little bit to kids, and I think this is a good film to learn from in a weird way. It has a non-lethality to its violence, which just goes to further strengthen the ideal of the importance of human life and whatnot, and not pushing past that, which divides us from the machines. If you're going to become a killer, it's just like you're a machine anyway. You have no value for a human life, and that was something that I think they explained so well in this film, all the way through. I don't think it's. I think it's as good as the first Terminator. A lot of people love this one a lot more, and it's certainly flashier and better looking and more exciting and stuff. But there's aspects of that first one that still feel so strong and so fresh, and it moves so well that I think the second one moves really well as well. However, there's some questions you have left when you're watching it, like how can this movie happen when the first one, they explicitly say it's just him and me. This movie shouldn't exist. They find a way to explain that with the genius use of the hand, which was the last thing that didn't get crushed by the first Terminator and the computer chip held within it, to kind of smooth that away. But the theatrical cut leaves you asking questions. I think those get fleshed out more in the special extended edition cut of the film. However, that one doesn't have quite the pacing that the theatrical cut does. So you are left with a little bit of, the excitement level isn't necessarily as strong as that first Terminator. There's a tightness to that the second one doesn't necessarily have. However, the highs are higher than the first Terminator, and the emotional conclusion is palpable and strong. The performances this time around are pitch perfect, and so I get why people say this is the better movie. On a certain day of the week, I might agree. Others, I might lean towards that first one, but it's really a 1-2 punch of perfection between these first two movies, and I think you could watch them both together and in like an uninterrupted loop, and you have a perfect 5-hour movie, or 4-hour movie, or however long it would be. But regardless, these movies are great. It's a 4-star film. I might continue on with reviewing the Terminator movies and TV show and stuff like that, just because it's been a while since I've revisited any of them after these two. So it might be worth exploring. However, I will be coming at you next month in September with a review for True Lies, and I plan on looking at the newly released and much controversial 4K cut of the film, which I also watched of this movie as well, the 4K cut. A lot of people are really upset about these, but I kind of take the James Cameron stance of like, if particle grain is something that you're really concerned about, you need to probably go outside and touch grass. because I don't have a problem with how they are cleaned up. I think they look stunning. So there you have it. That's my 2 cents. What do you guys think of Terminator 2 Judgment Day? How does this land? Some people maintain this is James Cameron's best film. That's a hard thing to really say. He's made 4 movies that I think are inarguably phenomenal, untouchable gems, with the Terminator, Aliens, Terminator 2, and Titanic. And so I'm curious, where does this land in your James Cameron tier? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. Stay tuned for that review for True Lies next month. And peace.